Hey everyone, welcome back to our platformer tutorial series in Unity 6. Today we're giving our boss a health system so it can take damage and eventually be defeated. We'll also be adding a trigger to the boss fight that the player will cross the line, the arena will lock them in, and the boss comes to life after a short pause. So let's dive in. The first thing that we're going to do is actually create the boss fight trigger. So what we're going to do is here inside of our project and our hierarchy, we're going to go ahead and right click. We're going to go to create empty. We're going to name this gate. On this gate, we're going to add a box collider 2D. And for now, we're just going to drag this over. We'll say right here on this, actually we'll say here on this third step. I'm going to go ahead and just click here on edit collider and drag this up. I'm going to go up above the screen just in case the double jump accidentally puts the player over it. And then that's all I'm going to do with that. I am going to duplicate it though and change the name. We're going to name this boss trigger zone. The reason why I'm duplicating it is so that it will have the same dimensions with the box collider as the gate. The only difference is that I'm going to set it to trigger. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and disable the gate object. That way it's all set up. And now we can actually start coding that in. So in your scripts folder, go ahead and right click, create mono behavior script, and just name this boss trigger. If your code doesn't pop up, then go ahead and make sure you double click it to open it. And let's get to coding. Let's start out by adding up at the top Unity system.collections. We're going to add an IE numerator, so we'll need that. We're going to add some variables. Public game object, and it's going to be called gate. Public boss. We'll just, for right now, we'll set, that's okay, boss health boss. Actually, no. Public, we'll say game object. We'll change this later because we haven't created the health script yet. So game object boss. There we go. Public float. This will be a delay, and we're gonna set it for. We'll start off with 2 frames, so 2 seconds. Private bool triggered is gonna be equal to false. Alright, we're not going to need any of this, so we can delete all of that. We are going to type in private void on trigger exit 2D. And we're going to change collision to other just to keep things uniform. And if is not already triggered, so we want to make sure that it's not already triggered, and other dot compare tag is equal to the player, is the player, then we're gonna do a thing, and that thing, so we're gonna set triggered to true, and then if the gate does not equal null, so we can check to make sure that there's a gate in there, right? Then gate dot set active to true. And then we're going to start a coroutine that we haven't created yet, but we're going to create it right now. Start boss. Alright, so now after all that, we're going to create a private IE numerator, and we're going to call it start boss. what we're going to do from here is we're going to type in yield, return new, wait 4 seconds, delay, not decimal, delay, there we go, and then boss dot, this is actually, we're going to wait, we're going to say boss dot set active is true. There we go. And that's already going to be true, but because we haven't done anything with the boss yet, but this is just so that there's no errors in it. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to test it out, and we're going to make sure that the gate blocks us, activates and blocks us. So let's go ahead and we want to add boss trigger, and we're going to drag the gate in there, and we're going to drag the boss dragon into the boss game object, and let's give it a go. Let me turn down the sound so it doesn't blow out anybody's ears. Alright, so the gate, we can see that the gate is active right there, so it should block us now. And it does. It does. We cannot get past it, so that's exactly what we need. So that works, so that's good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start working on the boss health. The boss health script. So what we're going to do from here is right click, create mono behavior script. We're going to name this boss health, and then after we create this, we're going to want to open it up. I'm going to go ahead and drag it on the boss dragon first though. So click on the boss dragon, drag the boss health script in there, double click it to open, and we're going to have a few things. We're going to once again want to add our system dot collections, and we'll leave those for right now. Let's go ahead and add some integers and other variables. Max health, I'm gonna make it equal to 8. I really am a fan of the Sonic games, so I want this to kind of play out the same way it would with like Dr. Robotnik. Did not mean to make that variable private. Let's make it public, that way we can see what's going on. Let's see, we're gonna add an animator. No, we're not. We don't need an animator. There's no death animation. We will need to do some sort of sprite render, so maybe to change the color of the sprite, because there's no death animation on the dragon. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Private bool is active is equal to false. Private bool is invincible is equal to false. Public sprite render sprite, and then private color original color. Alright, we're going to add an awake function in here. We're going to say, actually we can make this private, and we'll just add, we'll do that too. Well, that's what we're going to do. Sprite equals get component in children sprite, whoops, renderer. I'm going to say original color is equal to the sprite dot color, and then current health is going to be equal to the max health. Alright, Next thing we're going to do is create, actually, you know what, we probably won't need the update or the start, so I'm going to go ahead and delete them. If I need them, I can always add them back. But we do need to add a function called activate boss, and we're going to set is active to true. We're going to create our take hit function now. All right, so what we're going to be doing is first we're going to check to make sure that the boss is active. So we're going to say, if not is active. So if the boss is not active or it is invincible, then don't do anything. Otherwise, current health minus, so it's going to take away 1. From here, we're going to say if the current health is less than or equal to 0, then we're going to call the die function. Else, what we're going to do is start coroutine, and it's going to be called temporary. Actually, no, that's too long. I don't want to type that much. We'll just say invincibility. Imagine having a struggle to spell invincibility. Was definitely me just now. Alright, so from here we're going to say private IE numerator, and we're going to name it invincibility, and we're going to say is invincible is equal to true. Alright. Now what we're going to have is we're going to attempt to make it flash white 3 times, because in the Sonic games, Robotnik kind of flashes a little bit of a white color when you hit him. So, and since our boss has a lot of red, that seems like the best bet for it. So we're going to say for integer I is equal to 0, I is less than 3, we're going to say I plus plus. And what we're going to do inside of here is we're going to say sprite dot color is equal to color dot white. I'm going to say yield, whoops, not yield return new. I spelled yield wrong. Yield return new. Wait 4 seconds, and that's going to be like half a frame or half a second. Sprite dot color is going to be set back to its original color. I'm going to say yield return new. Wait 4 seconds, 0.05 frames, or 0.5. So let's go with that one. There we go. I don't know why I put that on the outside or inside the parentheses. There we go. Alright, so that should fix the that should work for the invincibility. Oh, we need to set it back to false. There we go. Alright. Next thing we're going to be doing is the die function. So we're going to say private void die we're going to say game object dot. How do I want to do this? I know what I'm going to do. All right. We're going to say get component boss teleport dot enabled we're going to set it equal to false, and then let's see, I'm just going to copy this, paste it down here, and this time it's going to be, what did I name it? I think I named it Dragon Boss. We're just going to disable it. The components themselves, and let's see, we're going to do one more. Get component in children sprite renderer, because at some point, most likely in the next video, we're gonna have a win screen, and so I don't want to disable, or I don't want to destroy the boss or disable the game object, because I want to make sure that the win screen pops up. So we're just gonna kind of disable all of the components that we need for that, and then call it a day. So there's that. The next thing that we're going to do is come back down to our boss trigger, and we need to do a few things. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this game object for the boss, and we're going to change it to boss health. Right, and then we're going to say here boss activate boss, like that. So that'll fix that. Let's see here, we got that. The next thing we need to do is actually get something to where it's gonna hurt the boss. So we're gonna let this compile. Alright, everything's showing up right there. So let's see here. Alright, click on your visible layer here, the sprite that has the sprite on it. We're gonna right click and we're gonna create an empty child object. We're gonna name this boss hurt box. We're gonna add a component onto it. It's gonna be a circle collider 2D. Go ahead and make it a trigger. I'm gonna go ahead and move this into place though, right around there, center, mass. I'm gonna make it wide. I want it to be wider than the collider that's on our sprite layer. And from here, we're going to go ahead and create a script. So right click in your scripts folder, mono behavior script. We're going to name this boss hurt box. Let's go ahead and open it up. And in here, what we're going to go ahead and type in is, we're going to first get rid of all of this because we don't need any of that. And we're going to say public boss health boss, boss. And we're going to say private full void on trigger enter 2D. We're going to go ahead and again change collision to other. And we're going to check to make sure that what's entering it has the tag player. So that's what this one line does. Whoops. And if it does, then we're going to do a thing. We're going to say player control player equals get, actually no, not player. We want player feet. Player feet. No, player should be fine because we're not accessing the clatter of the player feet. We just want to check to see if the player enters the trigger of the boss. Yeah, so that should be fine. Player control player equals other dot get component player control, and we're gonna say if the player is not equal to null, then we're going to do a thing if, and that's going to be boss dot take hit. Now we want our player to bounce off of the enemy to the same way like Sonic does. So we're going to come over here to our player controller. We're going to scroll down to the bottom, scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to create a function that we're going to call bounce off enemy. And this will be something that you'll actually be able to incorporate with your other enemies if you wanted to bounce off of those, and that will just help giving that extra layer of protection to make sure that he doesn't get hit twice as well, or get that he doesn't get hit while killing enemies, even though we fixed that in a previous bugs video. So, but nothing wrong with too much protection. Linear velocity dot x. So what we're doing here is we're saying the linear velocity of the rigid body is equal to a new vector 2, and it's going to be whatever the velocity of x is at this moment, and we're also going to pass the jump force times, we'll say 1 for now. If it's too high, then we can lower it. So let's save that, go back to your boss hurt box, and we're going to type in player dot bounce off enemy. Alright, so let's let all that compile. I never drug the hurt box onto the object, so let's make sure we do that. Let's drag the boss over here to the boss spot. Let's see. Looks like we're good to go there. Alright, let's give it a shot. Sound is down. Alright, we enter, we're there. Whoops. That still works, so we can't. Alright, I just took a damage, and it looks like right now the boss is not taking damage, but he is bouncing, at least the hero character. So now we need to figure out why the boss is not taking damage. But I do see this. That has to the boss trigger, so what's going on there? Activate boss. Did I not put it in here? Yeah, I put it in there. Is active is equal to true. I changed it and I never added it back. That's right. No, there it is. It's right there. Let's see when that pops up. Does it pop up right as I cross it? No. Only... No, it didn't even pop up that time. Alright. Where are you? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Alright, so I hit it. Oh, now it's taking it. I don't know why it wasn't before. But, alright. Maybe it's just a small glitch in it. But now, let's see. Yep, 6, 5, 4, 3, bro, 2, 1, 0. Boom. And there he is. Alright. And if we look, alright, we may have to disable that collider also, because you can see the collider is still there. It did disable the sprite render, so we'll just disable that collider as well. And so let's do that real quick, because we're already at 26 minutes. Let's go ahead and get rid of this, because what I'm going to do is instead we're going to go ahead and just disable the game objects themselves. I say plural because we need to disable the hurt box also. So we're going to say public game object. We're going to say sprite disabler. I'm going to say public game object HB disabler. We're going to have those there. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to say sprite disabler dot set active, and we're going to put false in parentheses, which will turn it off. HB disabler dot set active false, which will turn it off, like so. And then let's test it out. All right, missed. 1, 2, 3, bro. I think that counted. Uh-oh. I forgot to assign them. Alright. So, it is active. It's not doing anything. So, let's see here. If we just throw those in there. Will that... No, it's not going to work. Alright. So, let's go ahead and apply those variables this time. And then try it. Because we're coming up on 30 minutes. This should not have been that long of a video, I would think. But, there was a lot of coding. So I'm gonna hope that that's why, and not these knucklehead errors that I made. Oh, I missed. Where'd he go? Huh? There we go. Alright, so you can see the sprite and layer and the hurt box are both disabled. We can run straight through around here. And that will allow us in the next video to apply the windscreen logic. So there's only 2 videos left in this series, folks, and then it'll be done. We're going to do the windscreen and game over screen in one. I say screen, scenes in one video, and then the building the game in a second one. I'm no longer teaching. I haven't quit, but like school's over, so I'll probably record those later this week and try to post them both next Saturday. And then I'll start planning for the next tutorial. The game, I believe, was called Stormbound or Stormbreakers. I'm gonna play it for a little bit and work some things out. Maybe I'll record some of the playing and kind of walk through the planning process of what I'm gonna need for it. So, but yeah, it seems to be a game similar to Minion Masters, if you guys have played that one on Google or iPhone. But in this video, what we did is we set up the boss health script. We set up a trigger zone so that it traps the player in the arena so he can't double back and run away. We also added a hurt box that will allow us to damage the enemy. We got the enemy dying and all that. It does feel a little flat. Maybe in the next video, since it'll be a shorter one, I'll add some logic to be able to add our little special effect for the death of the enemies into here, so it instantiates when the boss dies too. So, but until then, keep learning, keep building. I'll see you in the next video.